you. You're tuned in to the Skirts Up Show with Samantha and Melissa.
Join our mission to normalize failure, but still uncover the positives at every twist and turn.
Skirts up, but keep your panties on. What's up, Skirts Up Squad? It's Samantha
And Melissa.
and this is our second to last episode of season 3. Can you believe that?
No, it's pretty crazy, actually.
It is
Every
so
time I
crazy.
keep thinking, no, we're only in season 2. And then I'm like, no, this is 3. And
It's
we're
when
about to go into
people
4.
ask how long we've had the podcast, I go, oh man, it's been forever. Like I almost go, like it's been on for 3 years.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh shit, wait, no, it's only 3 seasons, but like only a year and a half. Like,
You're like, it just feels like 3 years with Melissa.
dude, we've been through like a whole fucking lifetime together, it feels like.
Yeah. I think so too. I feel like it's a lot. And I love it.
In like the best way though.
Yes,
And
exactly.
yeah, it's been really fun seeing each other, go through the ebbs and flows of life.
Yeah.
Even though it's not fun in the moment, but like, I mean,
Right. Like you've
you've-
seen me at super like not amazing times and not my best. And you've seen me at pretty good times and you've helped me through all of it.
Yeah, and I mean, Ada dying was probably one of my very lowest
awful.
moments, and you were a poor witness to that, of me like crying every
I
recording going into it.
That's okay. I get it. I do. But
Here we are.
Gee,
And that's how you know we're synced.
that's right.
Oh man. Okay, so we have a really fun guest, but there's like a few things that we want to say. First off, most of y'all have noticed and have probably read the article. We have been featured in Shout Out Atlanta.
Yes.
Yeah,
It
so
was
thank you guys.
amazing.
Yes, it was so bizarre, like to get a random email about, hey, let's learn about you and Skirts Up. And there was like a mishap that actually is a fail right there.
Ooh,
Not realizing.
or that could be, yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, so we got this like email request of like, hey, share about Skirts Up and about you and how it got started. And so what it sounded like to me was like, oh, here's some prompts, answer these prompts like via type, and then we'll let you know if we want to move forward with an interview. So I answered their prompts, sent it over, and then before I know it, I mean, like a few weeks later, I didn't even get like a confirmation, like of even that there was going to be a publish, and all of a sudden I just find out like, oh, my article has been published on Shout Out Atlanta because I had someone like marketing me, trying to sell me like a plaque. And I was like, what?
They do that to my shop. They'll like call and be like, you want a plaque for being best of Gwinnett? And it's like,
Aw.
but nobody really like, I don't think
That's
But
how I
anyway.
found out we got published.
that's how you found out. Okay, gotcha. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I had no idea.
I'm glad you found out.
I know.
We
It's
could
like,
link
so
it.
then I literally had to go look up Shout Out Atlanta, look up Skirts Up, and I was like, we were published like 3 weeks ago. And I was like, what in the world? But anywho, yes, we were published in
That's
Shout Out of
awesome.
Atlanta. It was really cool, but I do feel like it was a fail on my part to not really understand what I was filling out, because I just feel like it could have been so much bigger and so much better if we like could have done it together. So I'm a little
It
bummed
would
about
have been
that.
fun, but next time. And honestly, like you shouted me out super well. Like I felt like even though I didn't have a part of like typing and saying things or answering any of the prompts, I still feel like I was part of the article with you because I don't know, you made me feel like I was part of it. And so that was pretty cool.
Well, of course you're part of it, and your quilting like community is really one of our like loudest supporters. So it's like really
so
fun, and it's like
nice.
how could you not even like if you were physically involved in that interview, like there's no way that they wouldn't have been shouted out anyways. So it's like
Yeah.
I mean they
Thank
are
you.
a big part. A crafted cottage is like a huge part of our platform.
Thank you. I love all of our people that support us. Yeah. We're pretty lucky, aren't we?
Yeah. So that's my fail.
It was not a bad one though.
Wait,
What?
you can't
What?
tell your fail.
Why?
You can't do it yet.
Okay, I'll tell it for the next episode.
Okay.
So what's my fail this time?
The fail is that we talked about what we were talking about fails, and neither of us did the fails that we talked about.
That's hilarious. Yeah, Sam was going to share a different fail and I was going to share one too. But then no, you're right. Sometimes things just roll the way they roll.
They
And
do.
the
That's
shout out
us.
Atlanta thing that's a good one. We need to share that.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
cool.
It is
That's
really
fine.
cool.
Honestly, it could be a fail on my part too, just for the fact that I don't like go out and put our name out there as much as I should. Like, I feel like you're really good about joining all of these platforms and saying, hey, Skirts Up is, I don't know, joining another Facebook group or another community and just kind of getting our name out there. And so we get a lot of people who reach out to us through those, which is really awesome. And I think that's probably how they found us, is you putting us out there somewhere.
I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'll
And
follow
that's
the lead.
actually how our guest today that we have found us, which is really crazy because she's got a large following of her own, and she has created this business from the ground up of helping men understand and be what women want.
Yeah.
And it was really, really cool talking to her. She was really fun and easy to talk to. And
She was. I'm joking or not. I was about to say I joke that, but it's not like a joke I make all the time. So it's not like I talk about you all the time, Marni. But I was gonna say in my mind, I was thinking she's doing the Lord's work.
right?
Right?
Oh my God.
These men are they need help.
Yeah, they do. Oh my God. I wonder if we could set her up with your ex-husband.
What?
Be like, hey, can you like non-conspicuously reach out to her ex-husband and be like, hey, I can help you. And then like
Oh my
help
goodness.
him for his next endeavor.
He doesn't need to we're all on our own journeys right now. I have a feeling he also needs to do what I'm trying to do, is just kind of find himself and me find myself, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Maybe
he needs
eventually.
Jesus, but not Jesus. That's what he does not need.
You know. Anyway.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh my God. But yeah, no. Yeah, maybe one day we can kind of like get her to talk to one of the men in our lives.
That would be interesting. I think
Yeah.
that would be fun all on its own. I'm putting that down on like a side note. Yes. Speaking of which, though, you guys are going to love her when you meet her today. The conversation's just really fun, and she's just really fun to talk to. And I am actually going to be featured on her podcast in a couple of months, I think, if I remember correctly. I don't have my calendar up.
We don't know when it's dropping, but I know that when it drops, you'll put a link on our Facebook page.
Yeah. So
Honestly, we might, maybe when it drops, ooh, this is behind the scenes, guys. Maybe when it drops, we could even use it as one of our episodes and we can go on vacation.
Well, I mean, when we record on her platform, we will be on break. So depending on when she plans on dropping it, it could be a random drop. Who knows?
We might just share it on ours too.
Yeah. So it'll be fun.
Anyway, so yeah, have fun listening to Marni.
Take it away, Marni, in your sultry voice.
That's right. You did like her voice.
I did. It was so hot. Today we have Marni, the wing girl, with us today. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We're really excited. So I think, how did you two connect? So I want to say Sam came to me and said, hey, there's this really cool person that we need on our podcast.
Well, that's cool. On LinkedIn. So Avi, who works with me, has been, here's the secret, runs my LinkedIn. So I'm not really on there, but he's been reaching out to other amazing content creators or other people that he thinks are doing wonderful things. And he connected me with Sam.
Awesome.
Yeah. I have no idea how she found us. But I was really excited that she did.
So tell us a little bit about like what you do, because the wing girl, obviously we all know what a wing girl is.
Actually, I don't know.
I was gonna say, actually, do people actually know what that is? Because it's more like a wingman.
Well, I would imagine it's the same thing. Am I crazy?
No, it's totally the same thing. So I am a wing girl to hundreds and hundreds of thousands of men around the world. I've been doing this for 21 years, but I help men learn to understand women so they can attract, date, get, be with, sleep with, do it all with full integrity and honesty and authenticity, and just be unbelievable men who don't lose themselves or their masculinity to attract the women they want.
Okay. Interesting.
What I always think of when we're talking about the wing girl method to our friends and stuff, and is have you ever seen How I Met Your Mother? And it's always,
Yeah.
have you met Ted? It's like the wingman. And then Robin ends up being
100%.
the wing girl. Like, it's the perfect
Yeah.
example. It's
It
literally
is.
this.
So originally when I started this business, it was me and another wing girl would go out with a guy and we would pick up women for him. So we were like the on your side wing girls that would help attract women to you and then make you start conversations with tons of other women and leave if it was going really well. And then after about a year, it shifted into teaching men how to do this themselves. Because at the end of the day, I started thinking, you know what? If men need a woman to do these things, they're not really being the kind of man that we want them to be. Like
Right.
that's the ultimate truth.
Oh,
Sexist
interesting.
or not sexist as it is, that's not what women really want. They want a guy who can do it on their own. So I went to giving them in-person advice and guidance and the leverage because they were there with other women to introduce them to other women, to giving them the guidance and advice on how to do it all on their own while giving them access to what's going on inside of my head. And I've interviewed nearly 9,000 women now. So I'm constantly giving the information that is in our heads, in our hearts, in our wants, our desires, our secrets that we hold close to us. I'm revealing that information to men so that they can understand us better and then move forward in their own actions better without feeling they have to manipulate us on the other side.
Did I hear you say that you interviewed 9,000 women on thoughts and that's what you bring to the men? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure I heard that correct.
I want to actually circle back to that. I do have a question. Like, I had two thoughts. Like, one, someone, just as kind of like a devil's advocate thing, might hear this and be like, well, wait, are you okay? No, I have two thoughts. I want to start with the other
Totally,
one
and I want to
first.
hear these because trust me, it's 21 years. I've heard every single one of these.
Okay, this is perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
so the first thought I have is like, I am so glad that you're revealing all of like the thoughts and the desires that women have, because I think that 90% of the issues that we have boils down to communication.
100%.
And yeah, why are we gatekeeping the things that we want? Like, I really am a huge believer in just, hey, this is what I want. I'm going to say it out loud so that you can understand it. So I really want to say thank you for that. The other thing that kind of went into my mind as you were talking was like, well, somebody might hear all of that and say, are we just kind of like helping the men put a front on? How are they being authentic if they're just like taking what they think you want to hear?
Oh, I hear you. I totally hear you. And that's what we work on with them as well. And we talk so much about authenticity and really honing and owning who you are as a man. So for every program that I have, whether it's a live coaching program or it's a digital program that I give to men, the whole first section is about discovering who you are as a man. Because you have to figure out who you are, what you want, and in order to move forward with the rest of my programs, to take in the information and guidance that I'm giving to you. So they have to figure out who they are, how they want to express themselves. Because just because I tell a man that women want X, Y, and Z doesn't mean that that man also wants the same thing. And he may not want certain women who want those things. So I have him become really clear on who he is first, and then provide him with the tools, just like any tools that you would use for any skill that you're trying to learn, which is how to communicate, how to flirt, how to approach, how to get over approach anxiety. So those are the techniques that I'm teaching to guys with the insight of what's going on inside of women's minds so that they're not as intimidated, fearful, confused, frustrated. So I really believe that bridging the gap in communication is what brings more confidence for other people.
I agree.
And the manipulation comes from, and trust me, people can take what I teach and use it to be a complete douchebag with women. But the men that I work with, I don't seem to draw in those kinds of men. It's also the way that I teach the materials. I'm not teaching them to be pickup players who run routines on women. I'm teaching them to be authentic men who are very clear on their own wants and desires, and then know the skills that they need to have just as normal human beings in order to attract women to them.
That's a big deal, because what we were talking about is, okay, so if we give men what it is that most women want and think and all these things, yes, they're going to just spitball things, but it is really important for men and women to know who you are as an individual before you start trying to attract people. Otherwise, you're not doing any good. So one of the things that I've noticed a lot of is attachment problems. And I know our listeners have heard me
100%.
rant on this a whole bunch, but like, if you have an anxious attachment styled man, it's doesn't sound like it would be as successful to me in matching them through this program because they already are insecure with themselves. But it sounds
tell me
like
more about that. I want to hear that though. I want to hear like more about that.
Yeah. So when you have, from what we've noticed, like when you have one part of the couple that has an anxious attachment style and the other has a healthy attachment style, then the anxious attachment person, so what I'm hearing in my brain is the man that is coming to you is probably the ones that are not secure with themselves. So, for example, I have a male in my life where he says, "Oh, I'm talking to this girl and it's going great, but then she won't talk to me for 2 days." And then I'm like, "Okay, well, have you guys talked about what kind of relationship you're looking at?" He goes, "Yeah, she doesn't want anything serious." And I'm like, "And you're mad that she didn't respond in 2 days?" And he
Right.
goes, "Well, yeah, she either likes me or she doesn't." And I'm like, "No, sir, you have anxious attachment style. Like, she told you she doesn't want anything serious, and you're thinking that your worth is based off of her not responding in 2 days when she doesn't owe that to you. Like, simmer
Oh,
down."
that's interesting that you would label it as anxious attachment style. I think that's just like not opening up your ears and understanding what's in front of you. I'm not sure if that has anything to do. You'll probably have more information on the person to
Yes.
know that's his style completely. But I like even something like that, right? So like a lot of guys either and women as well, we don't listen to what other people are saying to
Yeah.
us. Like if some woman is dating a man and he said, "I'm really looking for something casual right now," right? And in her mind, she's like, "Okay, casual. I want something more with him, but if I'm special enough and I deserve to have men
Having
be
more
fawning all
time.
over me, then he's going to switch the way that he's thinking. How can I make that happen?" And I'm not saying every woman does this, but many women will hear the things that they want to hear. Many men will hear the things that they want to hear, or they won't hear anything and they'll just fixate on the thing that they want. And they want that person to give them
Yeah.
attention 24/7. So for that guy, I love that you pointed that out to him for him to just be clear on, she said this. Okay, because that makes him say, "Oh, okay, hopefully now I can take a breath and I have to really work on what is within me that's
Yeah.
making me need that attention more
Mhm.
often or mishear what she was saying to me, thinking that she's possibly saying something else." And I will say that most likely for men and for women, there's so many mixed messages that are being sent to them about like women are saying this, but they don't really mean that. Men are saying this, but they don't really mean that. There's underlying things underneath the words that they're saying.
Ooh, can you clarify that? Give us some examples.
Well, even I was rewatching Sex in the City last night, and the episode came on with where Carrie was dating that guy Berger, for anybody who knows the Sex in the City series, and he meets Miranda for the first time, and she's talking about this guy who she went on a date with, and he's like, "Okay, well, he gave me a kiss on the cheek, and he told me that he'd follow up the next day, and he couldn't come up to my apartment. I invited him up, but he had a big meeting early the next morning." And Berger says to her, "He's just not that into you." And she's like, "What? But like, I thought that meant that he was trying to be cautious and wanting to be respectful of my time. And maybe he has intimacy issues or maybe he has attachment issues or whatever." All of these excuses that we make in our head versus really hearing what's going on. And he goes, "No, he's just not that into you. That's what's happening." So there's a lot of like things that our female friends reinforce or our male friends reinforce or other dating coaches reinforce, like, "Oh, she's saying this, but she's really meaning that," or "She's doing this to you and she's manipulating you." They're not always true things, but it messes with our minds and confuses us. Where in this situation, this woman said, "I'm not looking for something serious." Right. And that should be taken at face value. But because so many people don't really express what their wants and needs are, it becomes extremely confusing for people to take people at their word.
So I think also a lot of, because I actually think this is a perfect example. Hearing someone say, I'm just wanting to casually date right now. I think one of you had said that a second ago as an example.
Yeah.
It's so easy for a woman to hear that. And it's exactly like you said a second ago. I think a lot of times maybe the miscommunication happens because you had talked about people hearing what they want to hear. Sometimes the thing was said. The person said, "I want a casual relationship right now." And so a girl who wants to be with that person might hear the right now. And that right now was
Yeah,
really just
right.
kind of a said to kind of soften the blow. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying we need to be bitches, but sometimes I'm thinking maybe we're just trying too hard to be nice and they're catching and holding on to that one piece. I don't
But
know.
I
Is that
always
something
think
you
it's not
see?
my it's not my responsibility is to be as clear and honest as possible. And if people have questions, they can ask more
I
questions.
agree.
I don't, if I'm withholding information and I'm making somebody be a detective and they get confused and they're trying to dissect my actions, then I don't hold them at fault if they misunderstand what it
Yeah.
is that I'm trying to express. But
Mhm.
if I'm being very clear, if I say I'm really looking for something casual right now, I don't, there's nothing else that I can do as a man or a woman. If you want to participate afterwards, that's your responsibility to know that
Right.
that's where I'm at. Doesn't mean it might not change. It can change. It can change
Yeah.
a month
Everything can
later,
change.
right?
I think
Everything
that's a
can
big
always
part,
change.
is that
Yeah.
hoping that like, oh, if I stick around long enough.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Those are anxious attachment people that need extra help than just a, they need their inside work. So, I mean, I really believe this. I'll have to share some like extra information.
No, I think
like,
everybody needs some inside work because there's something in them that does say, "Oh,
Yeah,
you
you're
don't
right.
want me, or you don't want me right now."
Mhm.
There, it does create anxiety within you because
I'm
that's
not
what
enough right now,
I'm not
but
enough
I
right
will
now.
be.
But if I was enough, then you wouldn't want a casual relationship, and you would want to. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on internally for people that we can't control.
Mhm.
It is interesting because I've been thinking about this a lot recently because on a lot of TV shows that I watch, this is coming up quite often. So, and actually with one of my friends yesterday, so we were having a conversation, and she had been dating this guy for 4 months. She is 45. She's had her kids. He's 43, has not had kids. On their second date, she brought up, she's like, I'm just gonna be really blunt and say it. I'm not, I'm not gonna be a baby maker anymore. It's not where I'm at. It's not what I want. And I just want to put that out there for you because she's like, you're 43. Like you could be in your prime, and if that's what you want, you do you. I'm just
Yeah,
putting
you
that
deserve
out.
to know this.
Yeah, and he said, like, he took a lot of time to think about it and was like, "No, it's not what I want." And then 4 months later came back and said, "You know what? I am rethinking it. It is what I want." And she was really mad at him. And I was like, "Well, how can you
Wow.
be mad at somebody for adjusting his thoughts and feelings once he gets into something? It's not like I change my opinion on foods day to day,
Yeah, I
right?
think that's actually really
And
commendable that he took the time to process and said, "Wait
yeah.
a minute," instead of
How
just
do I
willy-nilly
really feel about
answering.
this?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, he did. So he thought about it and said, "I don't want to have children, and I enjoy you, right?"
Mhm.
But he changed 4 months later, and she was so mad at him for changing, saying that he was leading her on, and he knew the entire time how she felt. And I was like, I don't think that's really fair. And I know that most women don't say that to their girlfriends. They probably just say, "Yeah, you're right. Like fucking, he led you on. Like what a jerk for doing that."
No,
But I don't think that that's fair to
I
say
agree.
he led you on because he's forthcoming and telling you, my feelings are changing right now. As we're getting deeper into this, I'm realizing, you know what? Either maybe we don't have a strong enough connection with each other, or I'm looking for something more now and I do want to have children. Something
Yeah.
sparked it where I was at a friend's, kid's birthday and I was like, you know what? I do want to have this one day. I do really enjoy this woman, but that's not going to be in our future. So,
Mhm.
like, it goes back to what we were talking about before. Like things can change, and
Yeah.
being honest when you know something is all that you can do. It's how the other person wants to take it in. They can label you as being a jerk and being and withholding information or lying to them or leading them on. But then that says more about them if that's how they look at that situation.
I
Because if
think
someone's
even
being honest,
more
that's
elementally that it leads back to what you had said, Marnie, about we need to know ourselves, because I
Mhm.
don't think most of us do know ourselves, and it might take 4 months to be like, wait a minute, she really put this in my mind. This is something I'm going to start thinking about more than I have in the past, because
Mhm.
but yeah.
No,
and I
that's
believe him that in
I
that
do
moment
too.
he was like, you know what? I haven't been thinking about kids. If I was going to have kids, I would have had kids by now, but I really like you. And
yeah.
right now in this moment, I don't see the need for a child in my life. But it can, even if you're in a relationship, if you're in a marriage, things alter. Something that you
They
don't
always
need
change.
when you're 20 years old, or you don't need at 30 years old when you
Mhm.
start a relationship, you can need it when you're 45. I'm even having that in my own relationship. I've been with my husband for 21 years, and I need to be stimulated in a certain way for my brain that I didn't I mean, I needed it back then, but it was very different. I liked going out. We were more social, and I need more mental stimulation at high levels right now. And we're having a conflict because my husband is mentally drained. So it's hard to give that to me. And we're trying to figure out how to meet in the middle so that we're both getting what we want. It's really hard.
I think that the words that things change and anything and everything can change is really important. And that's probably one of the things that I would most wish that men understand, because even when it comes to sexual preferences and stuff, like just because we like this one thing this one time, like doesn't mean like, oh, okay, like we're down for that. Like
It's my favorite.
yeah, like all the time. Like it doesn't mean that you weren't good at it. Like the next time around, it just means things change. Sometimes it's okay and sometimes it's not okay. And men have a hard time of like, well, it was okay the first
3
night,
months
I just
ago,
don't
yeah.
understand.
I had a man say to me once, okay, I'm going to get a little graphic. So viewers, if you have or listeners, if you have kids in the car, I did go down on somebody once and I swallowed. And the person said to me immediately after, "Ooh, I just learned something about you." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "You like to swallow." And I was like, I did. I did.
Until you said that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And no, not even that. Like, it was just like, just because I did something doesn't mean like that's my preference or my personality or my identity. It's just a thing that happened in the moment. And sometimes people put too much stake on
But to be honest, without open communication, because there's certain times where I do like to swallow and sometimes I don't like to swallow.
True.
My preferences have changed too. And to be honest, it can change because of something that happens between the two of you, or it can just change because your palate has changed.
You're
like,
so right.
You just like to change in some way. Like it's so funny because I love blowjobs and I call it a lot. And it didn't even mean anything to me back then. But now I'm like such a germaphobe. I'm like,
Yes.
you realize what you're actually doing. You're like, oh, I don't know. There's like a different. The thing is,
things can change.
You can't control how somebody else internalizes. All you can do is talk about it so that you understand, and hopefully that other person is honest with you. And the truth is that sometimes it might be because something didn't taste very good, or because I was mad at you that day,
The last
or
time it came out my nose, and I said we're not doing that again.
Exactly. Yeah, you're like, this didn't work out so well for me this time, so it's like never happening again. It's just things change, and it's hard to control somebody else's insecurity. It's hard to control your own insecurity. Without words, you don't really know what's happening. And so like even with the guys that I work with, I constantly talk to them about communicating with women. So for example, if something happens in the bedroom, like let's say for a lot of guys that I work with experience tons of ED issues, right? And so what I know happens from the female perspective is that they're with guys who either can't get it up or can't keep an erection or they can't ejaculate, and they go straight to, it's me, I'm not sexy anymore.
100%.
He's looking at my fat on my body. He's disgusted by me. Like you go to the insecure place. And so what I'm teaching to guys is for them to talk about it afterwards and say, hey, listen, this happens for me from time to time. It's kind of embarrassing. I'm working on it. But just know that this is nothing to do with you. This is something going on with me. Or if it is something to do with her, then I hope that they can have that conversation as well. That like, you know what happened in the bedroom? I was kind of angry about what you said to me before, and I just could not mentally get there. So let's talk about what happened before so that we can have a better sex life afterwards. And vice versa for women. I would love for them to be able to speak more openly about things that are uncomfortable. I do it with my eyes closed. Like I'm not saying it as if I'm a perfect specimen who does this all the time. I get very uncomfortable talking to my friends, my family, and my husband about things that can possibly hurt them or hurt me.
Yeah. Right. Oh my gosh, there was something you just said that made me go, ooh.
Was it about swallowing sperm? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, spicy.
I think I know what's in her mind.
Yeah, it was actually, well, not that particularly that we talked about, but do you see a lot of men in what you do come to you with that problem of ED, and like they have no problems getting off on like by themselves with porn, but when they're with an actual female, like it just isn't going to work? Like, have you had to
sometimes, but most men because you're trying to say is it psychological. I think like so there are many men who do have that. I haven't really asked that question, but I do know because people have written into me about it saying that they have that specific issue, like on their own they can do it, but with women it becomes a challenge. I'm not a doctor, by the way, so just letting you know, I'm not a specialist for
Thank
ED.
you.
But so many men, they really have like legit ED issues that start to creep up on them. So the majority of men that I have worked with only talk about the issues in the bedroom and then fearful of what to do in the bedroom when that happens. So they don't, I've never heard them talk about like, okay, aside from the guys that write me emails about it, say it to me, but I can ask that question.
I would be
forward.
I would be
interested.
curious.
Question. But I will say, so I had Susan Braddon on my podcast recently, and she talked about ED in a way that I had never really heard about ED before.
Can you tell us who Susan Braddon is?
Susan Braddon she's an intimacy expert. She's like one of the leading women, I would say, in the intimacy space.
Okay.
And she works with men and with women, but mostly people who are in relationships with each other just to have them have unbelievable sex with each other. So she works on communication. She works on toys. She works on moves. She works on ED issues. She works on, vagina issues, whatever's going on for everybody who's in the bedroom. But she came onto my podcast and I used to think it was primarily a psychological head issue.
Okay.
And she was saying for the majority of men, and I'm going to say this incorrectly, there's like something in your penis veins where they start to get clogged.
Oh.
And so she was talking about using penis pumps to work out. And again, not a doctor, so please don't listen to this without doing research on this yourself. But they were saying like she was saying it was one of the early signs of potential like cardiac issues and blocked artery issues.
Oh, interesting.
Like even you're starting to have problems peeing, for example. Like I don't know if you guys are younger, but I have this, like my husband goes to the bathroom and it takes him like 30 seconds till his pee comes out. So those are like starting issues where that area is starting to have some issues and they can be red flags. Having problems finishing in the bedroom. I used to think it was because I have a big vagina now because I've had a baby in some way.
Oh, you thought it was you.
Yeah, but so that's the whole thing. That's why communication is really helpful about these things. And so anybody, if they are having ED issues, I would say first go to a doctor and see what's going on. If there's nothing that's obviously there medically, then look at the psychological aspects about what else is like harming you in some way.
That's great tips.
Yeah. And I actually you made me think of something. Okay. So I am currently going through a divorce, but I will say this. One thing that we have a lot of communication issues. We had a lot. So I'm just putting that out there. But one thing that he was really good about is when we had an issue like that in the bedroom, he would say, hey, let's take a break. It's not you, it's me. But he would just hold me and say, hey, let's talk. And I just felt so validated, I guess, because he still cared about me. He still wanted me there.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really nice way to handle it. And I haven't really seen other men hadn't really done that before. I hadn't experienced it myself anyway. And so just coming from a woman, that's something that felt really good.
No, but it's really nice because you don't get to get your nervous system going into this other place, right? Like your fight or flight mode doesn't go into high gear, whatever it is. You're not going down this path of potential negativity. And as confident as you are, if you don't have all the information and you're too afraid to ask for the information, it can send you to very negative spaces. So I'm glad that he did that for you. That's great.
Yeah, me too, actually.
What do you feel like men come to you? What's the biggest complaint that men have when they come to you about women?
Yeah.
Like, what do we not know about them?
Being ghosted. They
Being
don't
ghosted.
understand why they just disappear. They don't understand why they can have a great date and the women don't want to see them again afterwards. So like, what happened? We were laughing, we were connecting, but she says there's no spark and she doesn't want to see me again afterwards.
I ghosted my husband.
You did? Well, obviously it was an unsuccessful ghost because you're married to him.
I ghosted him for 4 years.
Really? That's so funny. You're the second person that said that. So our other friend is getting married now. And she said with her fiance, she's like, he kept reaching out to her and she just would not write back to him. She just wasn't ready for it. She's also a lesbian for a short period of time. So that's why she wasn't into it at that time. But she just like wouldn't write back to him, and she knew that he was interested in her, and they'd see each other at work, and they would talk to
Oh
each other.
no.
He would contact her, and she would just ignore all of his advances. And then one day she's like, okay, now I'm ready. I'll open that door for you.
Interesting.
And then
And
they
he was
started.
still there for it.
Yeah, and I was like, why'd you stick around? But it worked out well because I think he just knew.
I mean,
And then she did not know. So I think it just became
that
the
being
right.
said, you ghosted him, but not for 4 years. You reconnected after 4 years, right? Or did he keep trying to contact you through that
Oh,
whole
no. I ghosted him, and then I tried contacting him one time after I ghosted him just to tell him happy birthday on one of his birthdays, and he did not respond to me. And then, after the 4 years, he had reached out to me to see if I could rent his house from him because he knew that me and my best friend were about to live together and needed a place to live. And then we just didn't stop talking.
Oh, I love
It was
that.
meant to be?
Yeah,
The time was
that was
right.
the right time for it, obviously.
Yeah, and that's the biggest takeaway. And so I feel like probably for a lot of women, you should probably think about this if you've ghosted someone. But for me, I ghosted him, and the real reasons behind it, like, yeah, I blamed him for like stupid stuff, like, oh, he made this comment or I saw this in his house and it gave me the ick. But really, when it comes down to it, it was that I was not an adult enough mindset to be like, hey, I saw this in your, spare bedroom, and it really kind of threw me off. Like, is that something that you're into, and like asking like why was that there?
Communication.
You weren't invested enough. That was the whole thing. Like that's what happens with people that you just you interact with them 1 or 2 times. And if they do something, you're like, oh, that's who you are. Right? You're not invested enough. You don't know enough about them. So you're just like, not for me. I don't do this. Trust me. I'm not trying to, again, say that I'm so wonderful. I do not do this. I write people off pretty easily if I don't like the things that they say. Because if they say something, I'm like, this is what you say on a regular basis, and that's not my cup of tea. Maybe the better thing is to be more open and asking questions like you just said, like, oh, what did you mean by that? Or, they just said that, and that kind of like, it's kind of rude for you to
Yeah,
say.
I'm glad that
You're
it
rude?
went you're saying that because that's kind of something we're really trying to do, like with this podcast, is
Yeah.
be like, hey, is like just to understand each other more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard. I mean,
It
the
is.
truth is, as you get older, you've got so much stuff going on. It's really hard to just give grace to those people who you don't really
Thank
know.
you, or the benefit of the doubt, and
The
it's
benefit
like,
of the doubt. Yeah.
yeah,
I know. I wish I could do that. I don't do that, but I wish that I could do that. Even with like the people that are in my life. Like there's certain people who are in my life at certain levels, and they will not get to that next level because they do something that's like kind of icky to me every once in a while. But I've never said anything about it because it's
Right.
for me. I'm like, it's too far past the point.
and like, what's the
I'll
point
just keep
now?
you at bay. But
Yeah.
then
Right.
have a better friendship if I just said something, or we could lose our friendship if I said something.
Yep.
So you don't know. Yeah, I'd like to take that on as well and start opening my mouth a bit more.
You had just said the thing that men come to you the most with is being ghosted. What's something else that like they're like that's fixable? I guess that's fixable on the woman's
Everything's
side
fixable.
for to
Everything's
be
fixable. So the guys that I work with, they're being ghosted because they're not putting out signs of attraction. They're not being
okay.
They're not being
Okay.
attractive. They're not flirting with women. They're going and they're having a very nice connected evening with a woman where they're being very friendly. They laugh with each other, but there's nothing like sexy about them. They're not flirting. They're not teasing. They're not bantering. They're not challenging women.
Just
They're
having
being
fun.
agreeable. So the guys that I work with are a little bit more, I don't want to say fearful because they're not fearful. They're just not as confident with
Timid?
putting themselves out there in
Okay.
a sexual manner to women. They're not okay with
Okay.
men, and they have desire for women and they have attraction for women. So they typically cover it up.
Thank you for clarifying, because in my mind I'm thinking, well, how are we going to fix that? Like, if a woman's ghosted you, she's ghosted
Yeah,
you.
you can't control
Right.
others.
But
Yeah.
but it sounds like you're
She's not
saying no, she
interested.
ghosted you for something that happened that night.
Over lack of interest, of a complete lack of interest. You didn't hit the right hot buttons.
Fair.
So what I help men with most is helping them become attractive and understanding how to take those barriers that they're putting in front of them, lifting them up so that women can actually be attracted to them.
What, besides communication, because to me communication is attractive, What are
If you went on a date where a guy was only communicating with you, you'd be like,
maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like missing it so much.
maybe right now you'd be like, that's so refreshing. Absolutely refreshing. Like,
Maybe
great
right
work.
now, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's probably like a happy medium, right?
There's a total happy medium. And there has
And
to be like, I would say 40-60 balance.
40,
And depending
60?
on what age you are, the percentages change. But like I would say,
40.
especially if you're coming out of a divorce, you would want 60% connected, honest, authentic conversation where a man knows how to have a two-way conversation where he's sharing about him, you're sharing about you. He's asking good questions, you're asking good questions, you're getting a little bit deeper with him. But then the 40% is where he gives you little teases, he flirts, he
I
jokes
like it.
around with you, he makes good eye contact, he touches you in some way, he gets close to you, his voice changes and goes down.
Even you talking about it right now is making me go, oh yeah.
Your face.
Yeah,
Like,
but you're
do
gonna want that.
that.
But the thing is, you're 20 years old, you're gonna want a different percentage. You're gonna want like 80% fun all the time, flirty, a little bit of realness, maybe not too much realness because you don't even know how to handle the realness for yourself right now, let alone somebody else's realness. Unless we're 15 years older and you're trying to impress them in some way. So that there's it shifts a bit, but I would say on average, it's about 60-40, with 60% being like great communication. And that's a skill set to learn as well. Not just throwing questions at people, but actually sharing, expanding, asking questions, being curious about the other person and allowing them to do the same thing towards you. And then mixing it in with something flirty and fun and teasy and bantery and playful. That's like an amazing mix for a first date, for a 10th date, whatever it is, for a marriage.
Forever. Like you need that. You continuously do.
I feel like you should be an erotic author. Have you considered that?
Good God, no, really? Okay. I do want to do the voices for I tried to do that. What was it called? Not Babel. I forget what it was called. There's like this erotic audio site.
Oh,
I
Literotica?
totally see that.
Yes, Literotica. And and then they asked me to do it, and then but I had to submit all this like voice work.
Okay.
I'm like, if you don't just want my voice, then I'm not going to do it. But if I have to like audition, I don't want to do it. But I would love to. Thanks for
That
saying.
is so funny.
Lazy lady.
We kind of brushed on. Actually, no. Go ahead and ask
What do you want me to
what
ask?
we wanted to clarify on.
Okay, so I have a
It's
question.
really cute. Are you best friends or are you sisters?
We're friends.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So okay, I did have a question. Last time when we had talked, you had made a comment about like it's really hard being a man. I want to make sure I don't. Did you mean like right now in this time? Did you mean just period? Did you mean it's hard?
I think right now, I think in general, I think it's hard. It is hard. It's hard to be a man. And I have two young boys, and I'm watching this as well, and I'm trying to not have them go down that same path, but I'm fearful about how, society is going to treat them later. It's very, I forget what we were talking about specifically, but it's challenging to be a man in the dating space, even for reasons alone, like what I said to you before about that double standard where the woman was like, he's a jerk right now because he led me on. I'm like, he didn't lead you on. He was being honest with you in the moment when he was being honest. And then he was being honest later as soon as he felt and thought what he was thinking. And you're beating him down for it rather than rewarding him for it. He didn't let you go for 2 years and have a baby or anything. Anyway, so there's a whole bunch of double standards for men that I think are unfair. A lot of the things that we expect of men, we would never expect of women. Even the things that men tell me that women say to them on dating apps or like even on dates. Like I've had so many men basically say that women said, "Oh, I can't talk to you. You're too ugly."
So
men,
I've been watching this show on YouTube because it's just addicting. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's called Pop the Balloon or Find Love. Have you guys seen that?
No.
Okay, so it's like a group of a line of men or women. They take turns each episode. They're all holding a balloon. They bring out, so it's a line of men. They bring out one woman. She tells her name and like starts talking about herself, what she's interested in. She says something triggering, or if they see something they don't like, they pop their balloon and then they're not in the lineup anymore for her to be interested in talking to them or like you, right? And so we're trying to find a match at the end, right? One balloon left and then hopefully it's a match. So one of the things that happens like in almost every episode, the women, when they're lined up and a man comes out or vice versa, either way, it doesn't matter. I'm seeing all these women pop because the man is too short. You would we would flip our lids if a man popped because the one was too fat.
Yep, 100%. You'd be like, you can't do that. Well, why can you call this man short and belittle, like, sorry to say belittle him, but like belittle him? But
Thank
it's
you.
acceptable to do. I agree with you.
And
I just did a whole video on double standards as well, where it was saying like, women can say, well, I want to date a man who's successful, who's 6 feet tall. And women are like, yeah, that's who you want to date. But if a guy were to say, I'd like to have a woman with like double D breasts and who did, who was very slim, they'd be like, how the hell can you say that? That is so unfair for you to say that. And I think I just think it's really hard to be a man, that things that women say get a pass and things that men say do not get a
granted,
pass.
I don't think women should be getting a pass on that either. I wish that we could be less shallow.
Okay, but to be the other side of this time, if you're with a partner and they say, oh yeah, my typical attraction is girls that are 6 foot tall, very slim, athletic, and big breasted, and they're married to you and you're 5 foot tall and curvy and maybe have a big don't have big boobs, like that's really offensive.
Yeah, why would they say that though?
But why would you say that to any partner, whether it's a man
either way
or a woman? Yeah, I agree with you. That's very offensive. Or if you're saying it like, typically I do date women who, or that might see, for me, my interest before, this is the opposite, was like short Jewish guys who were slightly balding and glasses. Like that was my thing. Like that's what I was attracted to. My husband happens to be 6'3", half black, like gorgeous, and he was not on my radar before.
Right.
So I've said that to him before, but I guess because he's getting the upside of it, or at least that's how you would perceive it, it's okay for me to say. But I still just think you have to be honest with tact. You can say, typically I went for different types of women in the past, but I'm like so glad that I changed my view towards. And that's not even coming across well, actually. I have to practice.
Feel like because
but I think there is a different way to say that and finesse
I think so too. A different way.
I think I have a hard time finding there being like, I just think that I've seen so many negative examples in men that like I don't know, because like,
I get it. I hear you. But just know
restaurant,
every example, there are also ones on the other side toward men. So yes, they're wrong on both sides. They're hurtful on both sides. They're not needed on both sides. So I totally agree with you.
But I mean, to your point, it is, you do need to be truthful. Like, I actually don't think it's wrong to like see someone and then, politely be like, just not for me. I'm not really interested in it.
I don't think
because of their visual appearance.
I'm not attracted to you.
But
there's nothing wrong with that.
That's the way to say it.
What
she said.
I'm not attracted to you. I'm just not attracted to you. Like you're not my type. You're gorgeous. Totally. But it's not what floats my boat. Like, and obviously you say it with more tact than that.
Right.
But at the core, I'm not attracted to you. You don't have to say, oh, you're only 4'5", and I'm like, or whatever it is.
But what I have a problem with is that men have these thoughts and these desires and this like expectation that they want in a partner. And so like this one man, I remember this, he was married to this very short girl, like very not his type, that he makes very known. They're married, and then every time a girl who is his type walks into the restaurant, he's all like drooling and googly eyes, and I'm like, dude, you're fucking married, like, and your wife like would not.
Well, that's disrespectful.
It is disrespectful.
Yes, that he has every right to be attracted to whoever he wants and to be with his wife if it's the opposite to what he wants. But should he be drooling and rudely staring at other women while he's with his wife? No. But when he's out by himself, he can look at whatever he wants. Does he go home with whatever he wants? No, but he can look at whatever he wants. He's attracted to what he's attracted to. Same thing for women. There's many things that I'm attracted to, right, that are not my husband.
Yeah.
Do I have to tell him every single time that somebody walks by who is my type? No, that's hurtful and disrespectful.
Right.
I think that's very disrespectful.
Yeah, I would say for me, that to me is just like it's a very disrespectful, not nice person. What I do have a hard time with them sometimes, and maybe this is where you're saying it's hard being a man, but I also think it makes it hard being a woman too, is just the societal implications. Like, you have like porn, and you have, and I'm not against porn if it's, well, actually I have a lot of different feelings about that. That's a whole nother episode.
If it's used healthily.
Yeah, and also it's hard to know. Yes, and it's consensual.
I feel like I have the same torn views on it as well.
Yeah.
I get it.
But I guess what I was kind of thinking is like you have porn, you have just like regular freaking Hollywood, like movies, like there's all these older men being cast with younger women, things like that, that kind of say, hey, this is the standard because this is what makes money. And it kind of reinforces some negative thinking in both men and women. And I think that it really can kind of fuck up just a normal you and me trying to have a relationship.
Wow.
What do you kind of like talk to men about, like to kind of get around those kind of like stereotypes and things?
Well, give me more context for that.
I think
How's the stereotype harming them?
I think what I'm hearing from you is that like when movies portray like in Pretty Woman, like an older male dating a really young female in a lot of
that
movies.
in a lot. It doesn't bother me to see older men with younger women. It doesn't bother me to see older women with younger men, but you rarely see that depicted on TV. And I guess I'm just kind of saying, I feel like some of this kind of reinforces like this thinking of men and women, like women, I have to be a certain body type for the men to want me, or an age, or I've aged out and you're just feeling old and ugly. Or the men thinking like, okay, yeah, I want to date a young hot thing. I see that a lot. You don't?
I mean, I do, but I sort of think that's on you then, if that's how you're letting
Yes,
something
tell us
you.
more.
So I would say even with guys, like guys who sign up and work with me, who are like, yeah, I'd like to. Here are the women that I'd like to date. They're like blonde, 35, and this is a 65-year-old man, and we'll look at him and say like, if you were a 35-year-old really hot woman who was in demand right now, would you sleep with you? As you are right now, as you look, you're disheveled in front of me. You have 2 teeth that are missing. You have your shirt is from 1984. You haven't been out of your house in 3 months. You don't have a good paying job. Would you sleep with you right now? Oh, no. Okay. Well, let's either build you up or be more realistic.
Thank you.
Like,
Okay.
if you're a 4,
I
you're
do
going to
too.
attract a 4. If you're a 10, you're
And
acting
it
like a
goes
10.
with women
Any
too.
10, he can be a 10. Any woman can be a 10 too. Like it's a little bit different for women because it is more about like visually what the woman looks like for men. But men can up their game. Like there are things. There's nothing wrong with everybody wanting something.
You're right.
Right. And if that's how it impacts you, then kind of like what Sam was saying in the beginning, like you have to sort of look towards yourself as to why that's affecting you so much and why you take that as truth because you saw it on television.
Just as a closing question, can you really quickly give us the story of the best case client that you've had and the outcome?
I've had every amazing client, honestly.
Maybe
So
hard.
we use Slack for our business, and we have a success stories page. And every day we'll paste an email in there or a picture of somebody with their new fiance or their new baby or their new girlfriend or their, just like a little story saying how I started this program with you and 7 weeks later, I'm now dating a whole bunch of women who are absolutely amazing. And so to be honest, I don't have a favorite case right now. My favorite case of all time is this guy named Sharif, but I won't even go into that because that's a long story. But overall, I love every man who signs up for any program of mine because I say this on every one of my coaching calls, like to ask for advice, to put an effort, to make changes, to own the fact that there's things that need to be worked on and to do it all while getting advice from the opposite sex, which is uncomfortable, embarrassing. It can be so many things. It just takes such a strong person to do that. So I think every one of the people that work with me are just absolutely amazing. So all of them are wonderful.
No, actually hearing you say that even
that makes sense.
It even makes me think that, and I know you got to go, that I think my question a second ago was not, it was misinformed. In my mind, I was thinking, okay, so she has men coming that just help me get a date. But that's not what they're coming to you for. They're coming to you to help improve themselves.
For change.
Is what I'm
hearing. They
now.
think they're coming to me for getting a date.
Okay. And then
we improve them.
I like
that's
that.
what's really going
and we
on.
could also
that's going on for everybody, right? Like, oh, everybody else has got a problem, but I just can't seem to get this. Okay, well, let's like look at a mirror and see what's going on.
What am I missing?
Yeah, what are you
Exactly.
missing? And then what can we work on, or what can we do for ourselves? Like, it's at the end of the day, the only thing that you have control over is you.
Yeah. I love
Right?
it. Thank you. And I love that
Yeah,
you called
thank
me and said,
you.
hey, that's a you problem.
Yes.
Because you're right. We need to look at ourselves. So
Yeah. But listen, there's a ton of things that are out there in the media, right? That you're being programmed to see things a certain way. I understand that. But at the core, it kind of, at least me, I always know that there's something different, or there's something that I want to be seeing instead. And you got to stick with that feeling rather than giving into the fact that that's the right thing that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to do that when you're younger, but
Mhm.
yeah, that's
Absolutely.
how I think you have to look at things. It's like, I'm going to do what's right for me. So let's go look for more examples that are more in my wheelhouse.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I am excited to join you on your
Me
podcast,
too.
Us Women Advice. We have a good topic to talk about.
Yes, we're going to talk about trauma, dating women with trauma. So I'm very excited. I'm so sorry to race off.
Nope.
Thank you.
You're
so much,
good.
ladies.
Nope.
All right.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, Marni. Bye.
Did you like the episode that you heard today? Great. Share it with a friend and don't forget to rate and review.